Someone commented on my post last week and said, "You're paying these assistants $3 an hour, you're a lowballer." And honestly, if you don't know what I do, you'd probably think the same thing. So today I'm gonna answer that completely. I'm gonna show you exactly where I find these people, how they apply, what the back end looks like, and why thousands of highly qualified professionals are not just okay with these rates, they're grateful for them. And hopefully by the end of this, I can beat the lowballer allegations, but if I can't, there's honestly nothing I can do for you. So let's get into it. First thing, every role that I post has the salary listed up front. Before anyone applies, they see the rate at the top of the job description. These are adults that are making an informed decision about their own career. And here's where most people get this wrong. They hear $1 an hour and they immediately apply American cost of living math to it. And that's the mistake. I'm not hiring in Manila or Cape Town for these roles. I'm hiring in smaller towns where the average monthly wage sits at around $115 to $125 a month for a full-time job. That's what showing up to work every single day in that country pays you there. Now, $1 an hour working full-time for me, you're already above that. Working from home on your own schedule with zero commute and zero overhead eating into your paycheck. And in some towns in South Africa, the story is similar, except there's an additional layer. Unemployment in South Africa sits above 30% nationally. When someone applies to one of my roles, they're making a smart economic decision with real options in front of them. And here's the proof that this works both ways. When I post a role for $1 an hour, I get the most applications on any post that I ever run. Real people, real resumes with real experience actively choosing to apply because the opportunity genuinely makes sense for their life. Now that's not exploitation, that's the global labor market working exactly the way that it's supposed to, and this is why virtual assistants are so overpowered in 2026. Now, to answer the question everyone's probably wondering, where do I actually find people that are willing to work for me for $1 an hour? And it's simple. I post on places like LinkedIn, on Indeed, on Facebook, and several other platforms on top of those. And here's something important. At the very top of every single job description, every single Facebook ad that I post on these platforms is the hourly rate that I'm offering. Before anyone clicks apply, they've already seen the number and decided that it works for them. Now here's the part that most people never see, and this is what separates what I do from everyone else. When someone applies, they don't just send me a resume. Every job has custom pre-qualifications built directly into the application that's gonna filter out people that don't know what they're talking about. If I'm hiring an executive assistant, they're answering questions about how they've supported leadership in the past, what tools they've used, and how they manage competing priorities. If I'm hiring a cold caller, they're answering processes about their sales process, past results, and KPIs. This is gonna filter out anyone who isn't serious before we ever spend a single minute of our time on them. From there, my full-time head of recruitment goes through every single application, reviewing these answers, reviewing the resumes to make sure it lines up, looking for red flags. And if someone looks like a fit, they get sent a calendar link to book a one-on-one interview directly with my recruitment team. And every client gets a custom interview script built specifically around the role and the client's needs. So we're always getting the right information instead of going through generic motions. We do 100+ interviews per client. My team does all of it, and you don't have to sit through a single one. I personally go through the top 20 to 25 and narrow that down to the top 10 finalists who will move to a second interview round before we even get to the group interview with the client. The second round is where we go a lot deeper. More specific questions, more direct conversation. We're confirming they have exactly what the client needs, and from those 10 applicants, we'll select the final 3 to 5 to meet with the client directly on a group interview. And the group interview is my favorite part to explain because it's unlike anything else in the industry. Think Squid Games meets Hunger Games, except nobody gets hurt and somebody walks away with the job. All 3 to 5 finalists get invited to the same Zoom call at the same time for round 1. Everyone introduces themselves, where they're from, what they've done, and why they think that they're a good fit for the role. The goal of round 1 is not necessarily to find who you want to work with, it's to find who you don't want. You're eliminating people, not selecting. This one shift makes the whole process way faster and way clearer and helps you shift through some applicants early. Now here's something that makes this format really powerful that most people don't think about. The assistants know exactly what they're walking into. They're on a call with other applicants who made it through the same 100+ interview process. They know they're competing, they know they gotta bring their A game, and they know that even if they get selected for the role, there are other candidates who didn't make it, and they need to perform if they wanna keep the role. That energy shows up in the interview, and it absolutely shows up in the work too. It's actually a really fun process. Clients love it. The assistants who make it through genuinely have earned their position as well. So to take it back to my original question, Is it ethical to employ people for $1 an hour? I would say yes. I employ over 100 people at full-time rates as low as $1 an hour, and we have an 87% retention rate in an industry where the average VA churns within 60 days. These aren't people who feel trapped. These are people who found an opportunity that works for their life, in their economy, on their terms. I had a client completely buried in their own work, turning away business simply because he didn't have the bandwidth to take it on. We placed 2 assistants for him, and within weeks, he was taking on 50% more clients. His business grew, the assistants have stable income, they work from home, they're fantastic at the work they're doing. That's not exploitation. That's a system that works for everyone. So if you're a business owner and you want to talk about how this works for your specific situation, click the link in the description below and book a call. And if you still think I'm a low baller after all of that, then drop it in the comments and I'll go back and forth with you down there.